And read that script and like cried the whole way to work.
We fought about it in the room for weeks on end.
Weeks.
Okay.
Really?
I want to be her getting bent over on the Oval Office desk. What? Like, what? What are we talking about
Everyone
here?
wants to be bent over in the Oval Office. And we're done. Tonight on The Writer's Room, murder, adultery, blackmail, and lots of red wine. And you've got the white-hot political drama, Scandal, a show that's been showered with awards and nominations from the Emmys, Golden Globes, and Screen Actors Guild. So just what makes Scandal television's hottest addiction?
Scandal is about Olivia Pope. She's a fixer in Washington, D.C. Olivia Pope is a certified bad bitch.
Olivia Pope gets with the president, then they break up, then they get back together, then they break up again.
Melly, who's the president's wife, knows all about it.
On Scandal, there's murder, there's intrigue. I love the women on the show. They're amazingly smart. They're stylish.
They use leverage, connections, there's surprises.
The vice president killed her husband. Blood splattered. Insane.
I want to be in a scandalous relationship with Fitz. I'm sorry, but he's like Bill Clinton to me, and I love me some Bill Clinton.
I usually have a Scandal party at my house, so all the fans come over, but if you talk during the Scandal show, you will be kicked out and not asked to come back again.
Somehow at the end of all of this, the president and Olivia still think they're gonna end up in Vermont making jam and having babies. Scandal.
Scandal, right now on The Writer's Room. Outrageous success, horrible mistakes, last-minute changes. The creators of today's most groundbreaking TV shows tell all, in the place where it all starts, The Writer's Room. Joining me in The Writer's Room, we have creator and executive producer Shonda Rhimes, executive producer Mark Wilding, consulting producer Jenna Bands, executive story editor Matt Byrne, supervising producer Heather Mitchell, and of course the lovely and talented Emmy-nominated star of Scandal, Kerry Washington. Thank you all for being here with me today. Yes. Oh, thank you. I want to just go back to the beginning and ask you, Shonda, just about take us just the inspiration, the moment you decided to do what became Scandal.
I met a woman named Judy Smith, an actual professional fixer in Washington, D.C. Betsy Beers, my producing partner, sort of put her in front of me and said, you really have to meet this woman. I thought, well, we'll do a courtesy 15-minute meeting.
Oh my God.
It turned into like a 3-hour meeting, and I knew that there was a show there. When I hit upon the idea that Olivia was this woman who was having an affair with the president, that sort of sealed it for me and cemented it. And so I wrote the pilot for Scandal and I turned it in, and then the next day I got on the phone with everybody because they had a note that they wanted to give me, and the note was, we love the script, we think it's amazing. Can Olivia Pope not be having an affair with the president? And I remember sitting on a phone and saying out loud, this is a show in which Olivia Pope is gonna have sex with the president on the desk in the Oval Office. That is the show that I am writing. If you do not want to see that show, that is awesome, because I have other jobs. And they, to their credit, sort of said, okay.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just falling in love with you.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
And how about for you? You saw it, you're like, oh, okay, Shonda Rhimes, I'll take a look.
I got this call from my agents that it was as if Shonda had written something for me, but Shonda and I had never met before, so I said, that's impossible. They said, no, she didn't write it for you. You're gonna have to audition and fight for it. We don't mean that. But knowing you as well as we know you. Yeah,
make no mistake, you will have to meet her and read for this.
Yeah. They were like, this will be a process. But it's as if she wrote it for you because you're so right for it.
I remember watching the pilot and I was thinking, this is a great show, this is a great show. And then there's that scene where Kerry walks into the Oval and
Sweet
it's
baby
revealed
scene.
for the first time what their relationship is. And I was like, oh, this is a show, you know? And that was the moment where, you know, no show has done that before. And B, their chemistry was just so watchable and real that really goes a long way for the fantasy. I want to be her getting bent over on the Oval Office desk. What? Like, what? What are we talking about here?
Let's leave it at that. Everyone wants to be bent over in the Oval Office. And we're done.
But I do think there's a fantasy element to it all. I think people want to be Olivia Pope, which I think is also a really interesting thing that I don't even know that any of us ever expected was going to happen.
So often as actors, you don't get the opportunity to play characters that are multi-dimensional. You know, you get cast as the good guy or the bad guy, and on our show, all those ideas are thrown out the window. Everybody's a bad guy, everybody's trying to do good.
You told me that Bill Clinton was a Scandal fan, which I thought was kind of the best thing ever.
He was very excited to talk about it,
I'm a huge Bill Clinton fan, so I was very excited to discover that he was a Scandal fan.
Michelle Obama just recently shared that she's binge-watched the whole 2.5 seasons up until now.
That is surreal,
The most exciting call my offices ever got was, the White House called, they want all the episodes of Scandal.
What?
Yeah.
To me, the character-driven aspect of your show, the ever-evolving, changing behavior of these characters, that's what's exciting, in a good way, because you're constantly surprising us. You're not saying this character is like this.
We talked about rigging the election, and Shonda said we had a big fight about whether or not Olivia was going to be involved in rigging the election, and we fought about it in the room for weeks on end. Weeks. And we had this idea, and then Shonda said, I understand if she does it for the love of Fitz, if her loving Fitz somehow motivates her to do it, and there was a good sort of emotional reason for it, as opposed to just, we want our guy to win.
Wow.
Did you know that?
No, I was devastated. I mean, it was so funny because I read that script 2 days after I got home from actually speaking at the Democratic National Convention about the importance of every vote. And then I came back to Los Angeles and read that script and like cried the whole way to work.
Oh my God.
I'm a liar! Like for some second you were like, me and Olivia are the same!
Literally.
In our dark world of Washington, we play with the idea that everyone's corrupt, and that the agreement that they've all made is that America will never know this. There will always be a Santa Claus and an Easter Bunny for America, but everybody in Washington already knows that this is not true. So it's a much darker sort of battle of monsters.
Have you ever gotten into an argument where one half of the room was like, they need to go this way, or Shonda, you said it's this way?
Jake Ballard, who is played by Scott Foley, he ends up right now as the head of B613, this super secret government organization. But for a while, we were going to have him be a vice presidential candidate. So that was something that we went back and forth on in the room and argued about for weeks.
We actually got two scripts.
We went pretty far down that road.
Versions. I mean, we couldn't settle that argument for so long that we ended up shooting both versions.
Yeah, we shot both versions because we just couldn't settle the argument.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there were good reasons to do it and good reasons not to do it. You know, I mean, it was a very...
Like, it was a little, how crazy is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you sort of had to see it for yourself or feel it.
And it wasn't until I saw both versions of it cut into the show that I decided.
Really?
Do you remember that? We'd written a first script for the next half of the season, and I came down to the writer's room and said, I just watched the cut. No, he's not the vice president. He's the head of B613.
And we were like, oh God, we have to wrote that script.
Are you ever surprised by how the actors might change the way you thought that character might be? Or have you ever switched gears because you're like, oh, this is where we're going with this person?
My contract with the cast is everybody will say all the words as they are written, and we're never going to tell them how they should play the parts. And I'll watch a cut, and I'll go, oh, Cyrus is gay. And I'll go back to the writer's room, and I'll go, you guys, Cyrus is gay. And I saw it in the cut.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's that collaboration between they go off and act it, and then I get the film back, watch it, and discover something about the character.
Have you ever gotten to a place in the writer's room where you hit a wall?
Isn't that what we try and do, is back them into a wall?
I was going to say, the nature of the storytelling on Scandal is you back everybody into a corner, and you keep them there, and then you watch them fight their way out.
Yeah, and there's not just one cliffhanger at the end of a Scandal episode, there's about 10. And, you know, Shonda, I think, always says never save story. And I think on most shows you would see them save some crazy cliffhanger until the 13th episode, the end of the season, and Shonda's like, we're doing it, episode 2. And I think that's what people love about the show and why they know they have to watch it on the night, because their friends are gonna be talking about it the next day.
It will be spoiled.
Right.
Yeah. So, going down this little panel real quickly, just give me a log line of a scene that you can think of that would probably be on a list that fans got most worked up about.
I'd say the wrist-chewing maniac mom showing up.
Yep.
Mellie's rape by her husband's father.
Carrie?
Dad, the big cliffhanger for season 2, Dad. Yeah.
What's nice is that there's so many. All right, so when we come back, we will find out what scenes shock Scandal fans the most. Plus, we'll dig more into their writing process and we'll get some insider secrets. All that when the writer's room continues.
We've just had a couple new writers in, and it's always so fun to take them to their first table read because our table reads are so incredibly...
It's intense.
Yeah,
it's
really
mind-blowing for people to come into that and see that for the first time.
You get to write these amazing monologues. I don't think there's anybody in this cast who hasn't had a page of dialogue to say.
Oh,
That's
for
exciting.
They haven't pulled off, you know, in an instant.
We're just so devoted to each other and to the words and to the story.
I bet.
It's like going to an amazing play in which the cast of the play has received their scripts 2 seconds before you started shooting. Yeah.
Literally, sometimes they are literally hot off the press.
Yeah, that script gets printed out, hits the table read, and we look at each other and go, this might be terrible. And you don't know if it's good or bad until the actors start saying the words.
It's
and
never been bad.
Yep.
Welcome back to the Writer's Room. I'm here with Scandal. Before the break, I asked you guys sort of list scenes that you thought your fans would get the most worked up about. Let's take a look at a few of them in a segment we call Defend This Scene.
I never thought in a million years that President Grant would kill a Supreme Court justice. That was just crazy to me.
Yes.
How do we
that was crazy.
Yes, it was.
Huck took one of their gladiators, one of his fellow co-workers, Quinn, and tortured her. Who does that? Who thinks of those things?
I actually really don't like Huck.
I really like Huck. Huck is my homie.
An OMG moment for me this season was when the vice president stabs her husband, and then Cyrus had to come in and help her cover it up.
All right, well, of all those, we have one that got them worked up the most.
This past season, where Olivia Pope's mom is in jail.
Oh boy.
And then it flashes to her, and all of a sudden she's chewing both of her wrists, and there's blood and veins, and it's all gross. Oh, that was the most graphic thing I have ever seen on this show.
I have to ask, who threw out wrist chewing? Like, because clear.
I think
Heather
it was
Mitchell.
Heather. I think it was
Heather
Heather.
Mitchell's the guilty one.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Because I remember leaving the writer's room and coming back and someone being like, we have this amazing way for her to get out of jail. And me being like, that is so disgusting, but so awesome.
Wanted Liv's mom to be playing the long con and get herself out of that cell. And then I was just kind of looking at my wrist and I was like, I bet you could, if you really wanted to. And then if you did one, like, would you have the fortitude to do the other one? And then, like, if you could only do one, would that be enough? Would they just put a Band-Aid on it?
But that's why the writer's room is so fun,
It's so
because
much
we can
fun.
go for an hour talking about the most gruesome ways to get ourselves out of a jail cell by hurting ourselves.
How does the network weigh in on some of these things like this? Or do you care? Please tell me you don't care.
They are so respectful of us in our process that they do not step in. They allow us the creative freedoms that we want to have.
That's fantastic.
And I feel really proud of the fact that we've earned that with them and have not betrayed that trust.
So there are no notes.
There are no notes.
In their minds, maybe.
No, you know, they're really lovely. We have not gotten notes on the show.
Since season one.
I feel
It's
like
not
we've
a
earned that
normal
confidence.
writer's
Yes.
experience.
No.
I mean, we've had writers come on this staff and go, oh my God, they're not sort of looking over our shoulder at every step.
And just as we're sitting and starting to talk about writing process, I'd love to get into your writer's room as far as how you attack a new season. In other words, do you... Oh
boy.
God.
Wait, did you exhale like, oh, if you only knew? Is that what that reaction
It was a little if you only knew.
Boom.
At the end of season 1, I remember sending an email to all the writers as they were coming in for season 2, and I sort of said, if anybody knows who Quinn Perkins is, that would be awesome to hear your pitches.
Oh, wow.
Because we had no idea when we left season 1 who Quinn Perkins was.
We were like, oh God.
Because we had no idea.
No idea.
So on that day, those emails came in. Was there anything insane, or what were the pitches
they were
for
all
Quinn?
insane.
Oh, they were all insane.
One was like, she was a secret, remember she was gonna speak Russian?
And then there was the one where she was Fitz's daughter.
Yeah. Yes, that was
Or
one.
Sally's daughter.
Sally's daughter.
Or Cyrus's daughter.
Or Cyrus's daughter.
She was the Lindbergh baby for a hot minute.
She was. For a hot minute, she was the Lindbergh baby.
She was many
She
things.
was many things.
Has anyone brought something personal to the table?
There's a lot about how Olivia works that I feel like feels personal to me. Being in charge, having to deal with difficult people, thing that I understand on some level.
Being responsible.
Yeah, being responsible for everybody. Everybody sort of, that stuff feels personal.
Okay, so when we come back, we will talk about Scandal's rabid fan base, and we'll talk about what's in store for season 4. All that on The Writers' Room. Welcome back to The Writers' Room. I'm here with Scandal. Let's talk about your fans, because they are rabid.
Yep. Literally.
They create tributes and parodies. We're gonna take a look at one. This is actually a guy who animates recaps of each of your episodes. Let's take a look.
Let me get this straight. Your dad is head of B613 and he shot down the plane that killed your mom? Yep. No wonder you drink so much wine. And Fitz is the one that shot down the plane. Can she be transported? Bro, she ate her own wrist. Like, happy Thanksgiving. Oh, sorry, we're out of turkey. Don't worry, I'm just gonna eat my wrist off.
Nice. Come on, you gotta love that.
That's fantastic.
We do love that.
Yeah,
he does every voice,
fans.
doesn't he? Oh my God, that's fantastic.
We have amazing fans. Like, we started a Scandal Writers' Room Twitter feed, and the fans were so engaged.
Yeah.
And that made it even more fun.
It's such a precious relationship to us.
I love that you're not alone. I mean, in a weird way, when you're watching TV with Twitter, you're not alone. You're sitting with, you know, the entire community of other fans, and you're sitting with the writers, and you're sitting with the actors who play the characters, and our makeup team tweets, and our
props
set deck
department.
tweet, the props tweet. I mean, you're sitting with the people who made the show, and you're having sort of an open conversation.
Yeah.
I think it opens up the community in a way that's kind of exciting.
Now, on the creative side of things, since you are getting a lot of feedback, does it ever enter into the room?
No.
Never. They never, so if they can't influence that aspect.
No, and it's for a very simple reason. Not that we don't care what people say or what they think. It's that we're so far ahead that by the time they're commenting on something, we couldn't change it even if we wanted to.
That makes sense.
It's fascinating to see what people like and what they do. I mean, we can't change it, but
No.
But
it's
we're
really
also
neat
not,
to see.
I mean, in the sense of even as writers, our goal is not likability.
When people say, is that person likable? Do you have a reaction to that when you think about that?
We don't even think about the word likable. It's
Right.
Like, you know, our goal is true characters. And so trying to make somebody likable is making them a little bit wooden and a little bit two-dimensional, and it's taking out a piece of their soul, because we all, you know, Liv says it, we all do terrible things. And the idea that we're going to present characters that don't, you know, it's a sitcom. That's what a sitcom is, and that's fine, and sitcoms are amazing, but we're not making a sitcom, we're making a drama.
You can like someone who does horrible things.
Absolutely.
You can enjoy watching.
Watch.
No.
Exactly. You
There's-
can hate
there's
someone
no-
so much they're fascinating. You know?
Absolutely. There's love, hate, there's all these things. Okay, well, there is no better time than the present than to put your talents to the test. I want Shonda and Carrie here. Why don't you guys tweet to your fans that you are sitting here on the panel at the Writers' Room, and ask your fans to shoot us a question that we can answer. And if you happen in the 140 characters to have a little compliment about me, go for it. Okay. In the meantime,
for full frontal.
Yes.
please, hashtag full frontal. Now, let's look at a few of your celebrity tweets. Mariah Carey said, "And waiting for this all week. Hashtag Scandal, Shonda Rhimes. I can't believe I'm watching something with commercials. Scandal." She loves exclamation points. Lena Dunham. "Not leaving the house this weekend until I'm caught up on Scandal. I feel left behind and left out, like the last girl to get my period." Oh. Classic Lena. Okay. Jessica Simpson says, "I never want an episode of Scandal to end. Kerry Washington is such a babe." Oh, there you go. Best friends.
Pretty awesome.
You know? Well, when we come back, Shonda and Carrie here are going to answer some questions from the fans, and we'll find out some of the tweets they
After
discussed.
the break, yeah.
When the Writers' Room continues. Welcome back to the Writers' Room. I'm here with Shonda Rhimes and star of Scandal, Kerry Washington. And we're going into a segment we call Fan on the Street.
If you could hire Olivia Pope to handle one thing in your life, what would it be?
In other words, what scandal do you have that needs to be fixed
What
in your
dark
life?
secret that I don't want anyone to know about should I have fixed?
It's a very personal question when you really come to think about it.
Well, I was really grateful when I read the pilot that I didn't know that people like Olivia Pope existed, because that to me was a sign that I had never been in enough trouble as an actor to know about Olivia Pope.
Right.
Because I've since learned that a lot of my peers are like, oh yeah, those people exist.
So, another fan.
What will Olivia Pope do for a living when she retires as a fixer?
Shonda?
What would she do?
Well, I think that she thinks that she would go to Vermont and make jam.
Yes.
And have babies with Fitz. I think that's what she thinks.
How long that would last,
Right, I think that
however.
would last about 10 minutes. Yeah.
Or she uncovers a scandal in the jam making business.
Jam is scandalous.
Jam
Yeah.
scandal. That's later. It's later when stories have run dry and we're in trouble. So earlier, I asked you guys to tweet. Can you pick out your favorite tweet?
Okay, I have one that says, Olivia's mother is a terrorist. Olivia's father trains people to torture. Why can't she just have one normal, supportive parent?
Why?
The answer to that is really simple. Olivia wouldn't be who Olivia is if she had grown up in a whole, happy, healthy home. And Olivia's journey is really dictated by the fact that she's never really had a family, which is what those stray dogs that are the Olivia Pope associates, those are the people that she's taking in and trying to build herself a family. And I think that there's something beautiful about that.
Carrie, what'd you get?
Which character on Scandal are you most like in real life?
Oh.
I think I'm very close to Olivia in a lot of ways, but also I'm very close to the David Rosen character, the RDA.
Yeah.
Because he is much more of a play-by-the-rules kind of person in a way that feels more like me.
Do you have in your mind how Scandal could come to an end?
Yes.
You do? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I got that spoiler.
How we will get there is what's most interesting, because I have no idea how we're going to get there yet.
So I want to talk about season 4.
Once again, at the end of every season, we've played all of our cards, and we always walk away going, we got nothing left. And then we come back together and hope for something new.
So you finish the season up against the wall, and then we come back and we try to break that wall down or pull them away from the wall.
Yes.
You know, so that's what makes it so exciting. So I want to thank Shonda and Carrie for being a part of the writer's room. It truly was an honor to sit with you. You have clearly have a wonderful family here making a show that so many people love. So that's all for today. We'll see you next time on the writer's room. In the meantime, in the spirit, I'm just going to keep switching spaces for no reason. Okay? To see what all the views look like. And feel free to join me if you'd like to feel what it feels like. You can see the host chair. Does that feel good to you?